Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2024 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, it's words with me and from us. The Celtic Cross spread as always, and I also pulled the 4 agreements and Wisdom of the Oracle card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright. We have the North Node, and the North Node is actually in Aries, which is your 5th house of romance, creativity, and children. At the time of recording this, it's more or less conjunct with Chiron, so it could definitely be bringing that energy out there for sure. Alright, we have Aquarius, which is actually your 3rd house of communication, short journeys, and siblings. And of course, at the time of recording this, we're still wrapping up Aquarius season, and there's going to be still quite a bit of energy in there too, even in parts of March. And we have 2. So 2nd house energy for you guys is Capricorn, and that's your house of possession, self-worth, and finances. It's a little bit more quiet there, astrologically speaking, but yeah, definitely gotta have some focus on that area of life as well. Alright, so all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the 4 of Wands, Aries energy, and challenging that we have the High Priestess. So I feel like this is saying that there could be a bit of an imbalance between the physical and the spiritual for you guys right now. So let me just give you, there's so many ways that could play out, right? But let's just think of a few ways that could be playing out. So one could be, let's say, you might be, since we see the 2 people there, right? Maybe some of you are in a relationship and you're convinced, like, oh, this is the end all be all, right? And then this could be coming up as a challenge to say that, well, actually, intuitively, you probably feel like something's a little bit off, right? But for whatever reason, there could be some resistance on your part to acknowledge that. For others, you could be the other way around, saying that for some of you, you might feel like intuitively you're being told, oh, you can never have a relationship like that, right? Where it's like, okay, well, is that actually really your intuition, or is that interference, right? Where, that's just your inner thoughts kind of slowing down the situation. And then for others, you could just be saying maybe you're placing a little bit too much energy toward the physical, material side of things, right? And not enough energy toward the more spiritual side of things. So could just be feeling a bit of an imbalance in general. And then, of course, this could even just be playing out in a much more straightforward way, which is to say that you might be feeling this energy a lot more when we get to Aries season, whereas it could just be saying, but as we ride through the energies of Pisces season, you might feel like that's further away than it really is. You might be being called to tap into your intuitive spiritual side a little bit more through Pisces season, then be more external when we hit Aries season. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 7 of Cups. So this is Scorpio energy here. Yeah, and it could just be saying that maybe for whatever reason, given that that's 12th house energy for you guys, you had so many things going through your mind, right, to where that could have been clouding your vision, and you weren't necessarily sure if you could trust what you were seeing, what you were hearing. All right, in the past position, we have the Knight of Cups. So this is actually a Pisces energy here. So yeah, it could just be saying that in the past, you might have felt like things were a lot more straightforward, right? You might have felt like things were a lot more focused, and you might have felt like you were able to trust your intuition a lot more in the past. Right. In the present position, we have the 3 of Swords. So this is Libra energy here. And yeah, so for some of you, this could be as simple as maybe there could be a friendship that disappoints you. For some of you, of course, yes, this could point to a romantic connection as well. But timing-wise, given that we are going to have a full moon in Libra in March, it could just be pointing to that timeline as far as maybe you feel a little bit of a disappointment around the situation there. I know we do see the 3 swords. It doesn't necessarily have to represent a third party, but let's say if this is a relationship disappointment, right? The 3 swords represent your approach to things, their approach to things, and then the overall relationship, right? So if there's a lack of alignment there, then you could feel that disappointment. All right, and in your future position, we have the 10 of Swords. So this is Gemini energy here, which of course is your 7th house of partnerships, contracts, relationships. So for some of you, maybe this can point to you feeling like you're going through an ending within a relationship. But for others of you, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that. It could just be saying as well, like I said, for those of you who've been so stuck in your heads around the situation and not necessarily sure if you could trust it, I feel like for some of you, like, okay, yeah, maybe this is intuition, but it could be also maybe a little bit of fear on my part. So I feel like you've been grappling with that and trying to figure out what's what, right? And if that's the case, it could just be saying that you might get a lot closer to having that clarity a little bit later in March. All right. And in the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Lovers. So this is actually Gemini energy once again here. And it could just be saying that maybe that's what you're ultimately hoping for, right? You're bringing open, loving energy to an equation and hoping for that to be reciprocated, right? So that's the case, right? Like I said, maybe that's why your heart might be in the right place, right? If you're in a connection with someone and you're choosing to see the best in them, even though intuitively you're feeling like, oh, I don't know, something might be a little off there, right? Could just be saying because you're truly having that faith and hope, right? That okay, I'm gonna put my best foot forward and hope that others would do the same toward me, right? And with the angelic figure in the background there, could just be saying that you might be hoping for things to be worked out behind the scenes as well, and being able to trust and have faith in the situation. All right, in the environment position, we have the Eight of Cups. So usually this is energy that represents walking away from things that you feel like aren't necessarily fulfilling to the level that you'd hoped, right? Usually there has been some investment there, right? Like we see there's 8 cups here, but for whatever reason you might start to feel like, okay, maybe this isn't the right environment for me, right? Maybe this isn't the right situation, connection, whatever the case may be. So for some of you, you might be feeling this energy this month to walk away. And for others of you, it could represent someone in the environment as well. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Two of Cups. So yeah, I'm sure for the majority of you, this would be a hope, right? And this usually represents a hope of meeting of the minds, right? So not just necessarily love connections, but just in general, right? Even if you want to have a strong mental connection with someone, whether it be for a work project, a friendship, relationship, family connections, right? I feel like that's overall what you're hoping for. All right, and in the outcome position, we have Temperance. So this is actually the major arcana card for your sign. So this is a great card to see in the outcome because this says that with all these ups and downs that you may have been experiencing up to this point, even though it looks like it could be a little bit of a bumpy ride, to see this in the outcome says that by the end of the month, you will be feeling a lot more sure of yourselves, a lot more confident, and able to trust yourselves a lot more too. All right. And bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, for some of you, this could just be saying that maybe that Libra full moon that we're going to have toward the end of March, given that that's your house of communication, house of communication, house of friendships, and also that's going to be an eclipse, could just be saying that that might really start to cause that shift for you, right? Where maybe you felt like, oh, I'm not necessarily sure that I could trust this intuition, or am I just fearful of something, right? I feel like you're going to get a lot more clarity around that, and that might be the time when you really start to feel it kick in for you. All right, moving on to your 4 agreements card, we have always do your best. There we go. And it says express your own divinity. Okay, it says you don't need the acceptance of others. You don't need knowledge or great philosophical concepts. You have the right to be you, and you express your own divinity by being alive and loving yourself and others. Interesting message there, right? Because, like I said, for some of you, if you felt like you haven't been able to trust your intuition lately, right? So let's just say you rely too much on what others are saying to help guide you, right? So a super generic example, maybe intuitively from the start, you knew how a situation was going to play out, right? But then you start to second guess yourself, and let's say you watch like 50 different tarot videos to try to get guidance on it, right? It could just be saying that, you know, you might actually just need to quiet that noise a little bit and really sit with yourselves and trust it in your own intuition in that situation. All right, from the Wisdom Oracle, we have Higher Power. There's the artwork, and the number is 4. So we'll see what this has to say. All right, essential meanings says conscious contact with a higher power, the presence of the divine, seeing source energy in all things, committing to a partnership with spirit. The Oracle's message. This card reminds you that you are more than a person trying to get ahead and make things happen for yourself and others. You have an immortal soul and are gifted with a human life through which a higher power can express itself. At this time, you need to be conscious of your connection to spirit and foster it through prayer and meditation. Ask, what is for the highest good of all? How can I serve? Then get out of your own way and trust that there is a plan for your life more wondrous than you can ever know. You are always protected and divinely directed. So yeah, definitely a positive message there, especially for those of you where, like I said, if you just felt like there was an imbalance, right, where maybe you were focused a little bit too much in the material world and not enough with the spiritual side of things, it could just be saying that you might be finding a way to reconnect with that this month, which seems to be supported by the temperance in the outcome as well. Okay, the relationship message says it's time to address how much effort you give to your relationship with your higher power, called God, Goddess, Spirit, or any other name that is sacred and holy. Recognize that your partnership with Spirit is your number one priority. The appearance of this card also indicates that there is a deep spiritual bond between you and another person who is essential to your growth and evolution. Tend to your spiritual connections and remain aware of your true nature. So yeah, again, definitely a positive message there as well. And for the prosperity message, it says, sometimes your work just flows through you. Ideas come rushing in, and inspiration bubbles up from a wellspring you didn't even know you could access. When you enter agreements, begin projects, and negotiate deals with Spirit as your partner, you will always succeed. Let your higher power lead. The synchronicities and intuitive nudges you feel will help you see which way you are being pointed, giving you confidence to move forward in the right direction. Don't forget to give credit where it is due. You wouldn't be a success without Spirit's guidance. Humility will serve you well when this symbol appears. So yeah, once again, definitely a positive message there, right? Because like I said, it looks like the main thing for you guys would just be to quiet the noise a little bit and figure out, okay, what's intuition versus interference, right? And then that seems to help clear the pathway for you guys and get you back in balance by the end of the month. So hope it resonated with you guys. I'll wrap up there and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.